this is the treatment table here. I'll show you guys. And so, so over here at the head of the table, I'm sitting on a little chair and the client's head is back there and I'm behind them. And I haven't explained this to too many people. So if anybody who watches this now or on the replay has any insight or anything to share or anything that they may know about what my experience is, I would be so grateful, because I've been reading and trying to understand what is happening. So basically, so I'm sitting at the head of the table and the person's head is here, and I've been working maybe at this point on them for like 45 minutes. So I'm very, very, very deep in a meditative state. And I'm usually like, I'm super quiet and I'm very much in complete non-separation and flow with everything in the room. The person, for this experience to happen, the person is very, very, very deep. Either they're sleeping or they're incredibly deep. Like they're not stirring at all. They're not like clearing their throat. They're just incredibly deep. So this is not something that happens every day at all. This is an occurrence that when it happens, it's just so unbelievable. So, so I'm in this state, and then I get to a place where, and I always treat with my eyes closed. So my eyes are always closed during these experiences. So there's a point when there's a lot of like light and dark kind of swirling in the field that I'm seeing, that's actually visual. So for the most part, I'm a very kinesthetic healer, and I'm very much, I feel in my body often intuitively what's going on in the client's body, and I often will feel a lot of things, like my throat will need to clear, or something will happen, and I'll know where I need to go next. But with these experiences, I'm in this very, very deep space, and suddenly this orb appears. And I mean, I've learned how to work in the fourth dimension very, very easily, in that, like they talk about when you can see with your third eye, and if your eyes are closed, you sense the energy differently. Like if you walk towards a tree with your eyes closed, you feel its field before you get to it. So these layers are very comfortable for me, but these deeper layers are very new, and they're very hard to explain to people because they go beyond words. But so basically what happens is this orb appears above the person's middle. So about halfway between the solar plexus and the dantian, which is the acupuncture point that's about that far below the umbilicus, below the belly button. So this ball appears over the person's body, and it looks like a sea anemone, like it's in constant motion. It is so full and rich, and there's so much happening. At first I thought it was a chakra, or I thought it was maybe something to do with the person's energetic field. Anyway, there were all these different things initially that I thought. And the thing about it that is amazing is whenever it happens, it kind of catches me by surprise. And then I see this and I'm just in awe, and it's so incredible, and I have no thoughts. Like, it's just all the space is black, and then there's this light and dark orb that's just in constant motion. It's like the light is in motion and then the dark is in between. And so the moment I have a thought, and this is something that's really interesting as well, that I had this thought, like, I want to get closer to it, or I want to see it more clearly, or I wonder, like, I don't know, I always have this thought, I want to get closer. And as soon as the thought enters my mind, it's like completely gone. I'm completely bumped out of the space, and there's never been a time where I've been able to get back into the space again once I've been bumped out. So I've started to learn. I'm tearing up so much, sorry. I don't usually share this kind of like deep inner work publicly. So, whew. So basically, my entire life is about this space now. And what I have discovered is that when I go into the space, a couple of things I've discovered. One of the things I've discovered is when I'm in this space, the client on the table, at the end of the session when they get up and they talk to me, there has been a profound healing that has happened. There's something so different in them. They've let go of so much, or sometimes they're in tears. I don't share this experience with them. I haven't shared it with any of my clients ever. I mean, some of you may be watching now and are learning, but generally speaking, this has been very private for me, and I've just been researching and trying to figure out what it is. So, so basically, that's one thing I learned, is that there's not only so much healing that happens for me in this space, but there's healing that happens for the client. The other thing that I've learned is, gosh, the thought has escaped me now, but that's okay. I'll move on to something else and I'll come back to it. But so in this beautiful spiritual group that I'm in, that we just love each other so much, and we're so exploratory and wanting to kind of explore different techniques and do different things. So we're meeting now for these meditations, and they're inspired by this orb that I see. So basically, I've been researching a lot, and what I've come to that's the most close to what I think I'm seeing, and if anyone knows anything about this, please let me know. But this is Barbara Brennan's work, and she is a healer in Florida. She's quite elderly now. She was a NASA astronaut, amazingly, like one of the first women, I think, and discovered things while she was in space, and then became an energy healer. And then she has her own energy school called the Barbara Brennan Healing School, I believe, in Florida. So she speaks about this Hara line in the body, of like in the body's energy consciousness system, and how within that line you can, she talks about how each chakra is in a different, not each, but some of the chakras are in different dimensions. And when you get to the level of the Hara line, it's another dimension. And then when you get to the level of what she calls the core star, you're in the deepest dimension that humans can access. And it is this space where there's only one, I believe, core star chakra for everything and anything that exists and all that is living. So I suspect this is where I have been. I am still doing more research. I have an amazing friend in India, and she's Hindu, and she speaks about this, I think it's called a Sudarshan chakra. That is a chakra that there's only one, and it's like a weapon, and a warrior can carry it, and you can go deep into meditation, and only very specific people can see it. So anyway, there's all these different things I've read in different places, and I'm just trying to discover more about it. But basically, the most exciting part, and I think this is what I forgot to say before, is that I thought when the client's lying on the table, I always thought there's something above their midsection. So it must be their chakra or their connection to maybe their cord or something that was related to them, because I was the therapist and they're the client and they're lying on the table, so this must be them. But then I did the meditation by myself, and the same thing was there, and it was the same distance away. And it's the same one. It's the same one. I'm not, there's nothing different about it. There's no human in front of me, and it's still there. So, this is just an amazing thing for me. So anyhow, if anyone has any information, then yeah.